What up, guys? This is Caterpie TCG here. Today, doing a deck profile from UltraPrism of the Garchomp Cynthia Lucario thing. It's a pretty interesting combo that I will explain later. So first we have for Gible. I chose two of the Dragon type Gible. Its ability, I do not quite remember. I believe it is that if it has a fighting energy attached, you can retreat for free, and it is weak to Fairy. So then we also have the Gible, the fighting type Gible. It is weak to Grass. With the attack Never Enough, you can discard a card from your hand and draw 2 cards. In addition, Gible can be used with Brooklet Hill, so it's kind of useful to have both. I don't know which one I would prefer to play. One kind of small downside is that if anyone's playing Pheromosa, Gible, the fighting type Gible does get one-shotted, but I think that the fighting type Gible otherwise is probably the better pick. And I think that some of these lists will play Brooklet Hill. This list does not. 2 Gabite. This has 2 purposes. Against Luxio decks with item lock, you can't use Rare Candy. And also, for a fighting energy, it can, has an attack where you evolve. So essentially, it doesn't really matter whether or not you, Rare Candy, but, you do miss, an attack if you don't get Rare Candy, which is why I'm not playing, like, Evo Sodas and stuff. But, then for Garchomp, this has an attack for fighting and 2 colorless. It does 100, and if you played Cynthia during your turn, it does 200, with a choice band that can one-shot Garchomp GX. So, yeah. And then we have a 3-2 line of Lucario. I do not really know what the Riolu does, to be perfectly honest. But Lucario has an ability where if you have Garchomp in play, you can search your deck for a card. Which means if you don't already have a Cynthia in your hand, you can get a Cynthia. Also, if you need something else in your hand, you can get that something else. 2 Tapu Lele, this is to Wonder Tag, especially for Cynthia. But also the other supporters are very useful. You do take up a lot of bench space with this deck. Like, you should expect to have at least 2 Garchomp and probably 2 Lucario, ideally other things out on the field. So I think 2 Tapu Lele is probably the perfect amount. For Cynthia, obviously, you need this to get the extra damage out. It's just such a good supporter in this deck. And then 2 each of Sycamore and just extra draw support. But like I said, Cynthia is obviously the preferred supporter, especially because it adds 100 damage. And so essentially, a Super Kukui. Add 100 damage and draw until you have 6, except you shuffle your hand and draw 6, so it's not really. 2 Guzma. Well, yes, also 2 Brigette. 2 Guzma to switch out your Pokemon. 2 Brigette to get out your Riolus and your Gibles. 4 Ultra Ball to get out Pokemon faster. As well as 4 Rare Candy to get your Garchomp into play faster. If you prefer a slower deck, what you can do is you can take out all the Rare Candies and add 2 more Gabite and 2 Evo Soda. And it probably is a little bit more consistent, but it is also slower, which is why I think Rare Candy is probably better. And also if Luxio gets to be super popular, then that version is also probably ideal. For Puzzle of Time, this is to get your Palpads and Cynthias back. If I were to cut anything in the deck, it would probably be the Puzzle of Times. So if you don't like the Puzzle of Time, that is something that you can definitely take out. 3 Choice Band. This is your key to the deck, being able to one-shot pretty much everything besides, like, Metagross and, like, Solgaleo. I'm sure there's a few other things I'm missing. Is really important. So, yeah, 3 Choice Band, and you can get it back with Puzzle. If you don't play Puzzle, I would play 4-choice band because, like I said, the one-shotting is just too good. And then 2 Palpad. This is actually incredibly good because it searches or it shuffles 2 Cynthia back in the deck. So that's essentially 4 Cynthia that you can reuse. So if you're running out of Cynthia, you can shuffle them back in the deck and then get them back with Lucario, and then you can Lucario for Cynthia, Lucario for Palpad. There's just so many options with this deck, and the combo, that it's just such a good deck. 1 Field Blower, 1 Float Stone, 1 Super Rod, 1 Rescue Stretcher. These 4 are kind of flex cards. I think that Special Charge might not be bad. If you want to play Special Charge, I'd probably take out the Super Rod. But these are really force flex spots for me. The Field Blower and the Float Stone are less flexible, I think. But the Super Rod and the Rescue Stretcher just really need to be recovery cards. Doesn't really matter what recovery. And then 4 DCE, because, as you probably remember, hopefully, both of Garchomp's attacks use DCEs. I do not honestly remember what Garchomp's first attack does. I think it's like 50 to the bench or something. I think it's basically Ninetales. I'm not fully sure, though. And then also 6 Fighting Energies. And it may seem stupid that there's no Strong Energy, but if you remember, Garchomp is a Dragon type, so it actually cannot utilize Strong Energies. And Lucario's attack is bad, so it doesn't need Strong Energies. And then Gible doesn't do damage, so Strong Energies are just unnecessary. But yeah, this is my, like, super rough draft of a Garchomp deck, with Lucario and Cynthia. I think this deck is going to be pretty good when UltraPrism comes out. Anyway, hope you guys try this deck out. You can use Proxy Croak to get the proxies since the cards aren't actually out yet. And leave a like on this video and subscribe to CatterPTCG for more Pokemon deck profiles and other